Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 252. In this episode, you're going to hear 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. So in case you missed last episode, let me tell you a little bit about Liz Dube, just so you have a little bit of reference. Liz Dube is a certified sex therapist, coach, and licensed marriage and family therapist. She loves working with people who want to better understand themselves sexually and feel sexually empowered. And she has a private practice in California, and she has helped thousands of men and women and couples feeling stuck sexually and is working her ass off to save the world one bedroom at a time. So last episode, so good. It's like a guilty pleasure, right? Because there were so many good things that a lot of times people just don't talk about. So it's kind of good to see behind the scenes or behind the sheets, right? To know, like, oh, maybe you don't need to feel shame about that thing, because oftentimes people don't talk about their sex lives, so it's easy to feel shame because it's not something that's talked about. So dive in, listen to this episode, and then I know you're going to love it, and then go back and listen to Liz Dube's episode, and with that, we'll get to the show. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to share 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. Now, Liz is a certified family and marriage therapist, a sex therapist, just all the things. And we get into the weeds on that episode. And on the last episode, we hear different ways to spark your desire, that kind of thing. So you can go back, listen to that episode. But today I'm going to share the 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. If you heard that loud thump, that was my dog. He's a husky. His name is Kono. I call him Kono Bear, but I digress. Back to 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. And you know what? Badass is not always what you think it is. Sometimes we think a badass has to be like a hard ass or a tough ass, or they have to be like really strong and maybe wear a leather jacket, ride a motorcycle. At least for female badasses, that's what we tend to think. That's the picture that tends to pop into people's head. But that's not a badass. And so we are here to redefine badassery. And I am going to turn off my phone because I meant to do it before we got on here, but forgot. Turn off the volume anyway. So yeah, we're here to redefine badassery, and it's not the typical thing. You don't have to have a gun or a weapon or be on a motorcycle to be a badass. You are a badass. Even if you don't know it yet, you totally are. And I want you to listen to these episodes. And sometimes we see people and we put them on a pedestal, or we think, oh, they're so badass. They're way above me. Maybe if I did what they did, then I could be a badass. But we don't see all the steps along the way for them to get to where they are. So now we help unpeel those layers to kind of pull them back and see the behind the scenes. Everything isn't all gumdrops and lollipops. There is usually a lot of hardship and pain and struggle that goes in behind the scenes, but we don't see that unless they tell us. And so that's what we're looking for here. I want you to see your badassery in Liz's story, and somebody else that comes on the show in their story, and really realize oh, I'm a badass too. I can do this. Even if I struggle, even if it's hard and it feels like crap. So don't undermine your badassery. Listen to these journeys. Listen to the stories of these badass women. Sometimes it's badass men too, but typically it's badass women. Listen to these stories and see, where can you see yourself in them? Where can you see something that they've gone through or one of their hardships they've gone through? And how can you relate? If they can do it, you can do it. So I want to start or stop putting off this milestone like, oh, I'll be a badass when I run a marathon or when I make $100,000, or we just keep putting out the mileposts. And then when you get to that goal, then put it out even further. No, no, no. Own your badassery now, because you are a badass right now, right this second. And so as we're going through this episode, listen, see if you can relate to any of the things that we talk about for Liz that make her so badass, and see if you can relate that at all to your story, or be like, oh yeah, I've gone through something similar. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I am a badass. Or maybe it's like, maybe you didn't take, I don't want to say take advantage of the situation, but you didn't make anything of the situation, or you use that to defeat you. You use the hardships or the bad things that happen to pull you down. But it's never too late, right? If you want to make a change today, then you can start today. It doesn't have, like, it's never too late. It doesn't matter if you use something from your past 15 years ago and today you freaking start. You're like, oh, that's going to motivate me. That's going to be the thing that gives me energy. It doesn't matter how much time has lapsed in between. You are still a badass. Just don't let those hardships defeat you. Don't let them take you down. All right. Let's get to the episode. 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. Can't wait to get into this. Okay, number 1, Liz Dube is such a badass because of her writing practice. Yep, you heard that right. Her writing practice. Now, Liz, she said that she has shitty thoughts, right? And so what she does is she writes it down. She makes a list of all of the shitty thoughts that she keeps having as they come up. Left side writes down the shitty thought and what it is. And then on the right side, she does a reframe of it. So any distorted or crappy thoughts, then she writes down how it is and then writes down how she wants to think about it in the future. And then when that thought comes up, she tries to think of the reframe as opposed to just focusing on the shitty thought. And that helps you to not believe it, because you're pushing back, right? You're like, oh, that's not true. Or even if you start thinking like, okay, this is what I want to think. I'm going to think more like this. And sometimes until you actually sit down and think of the reframe, then you don't know. But when you think of the reframe, you're like, oh, maybe that could be true too. I'm a total failure, right? You can put that on the left side. And then on the right side, like, I'm just learning. Because failure, yeah, well, it could feel like you failed and you just want to give up. It could also be like, oh, I'm just learning. While I'm learning, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna fail at things. But is it really a failure? Or is it just a lesson learned? I've said this before. Little kids, right? If you've been around little kids, whether you have them or you have nieces or nephews or family members, right? Anybody, if you're around little kids, we often encourage them, keep going. I know they feel like, oh, I failed, this sucks, and they cry or get upset. And we expect them to just get over it, to just move past them. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Like, why are you crying? And we expect them to grow and move past it and just learn, right? It's just a learning experience. But then all of a sudden, as an adult, everything has to be so serious. Like, we have to be super serious, and we stop thinking we need to learn. But that could be a reframe. I'm just learning. It doesn't have to be so much pressure on ourselves. So write down on the left side, shitty situation or the distorted thought. On the right side, write the reframe, what you want to think instead. And, Liz said that she has a journal practice where she'll journal, and sometimes she'll just journal about those thoughts that she has and kind of take note of them. Because if we don't notice them, if we don't acknowledge them, then they're going to continue to persist. So look at her reframe. Take advice from Liz Dube. And how can you reframe your thoughts? What is something mean that you've said to yourself today? How can you reframe it? How can you say it differently? And if you can't think of something mean that you've said to yourself today, that's fine. Next time that thought pops up today, because we have them often, right? And it seems to get better the more work you do on this, but you're always going to have it. You're always going to have an inner mean girl. So next time that thought comes up, write it down and then write something else that you could think instead. And maybe you need to go back to it and look at the reframe in the morning, at night. Maybe you need to put the reframe on your mirror. Whatever works for you. All right. The second reason why Liz Dube is so badass is because of her body work. What do I mean by this? Liz gives herself positive affirmations every single day. She's always giving herself positive affirmations about her body and how she looks and how she feels. And she's like, you know what? Aging sucks. Aging sucks. I would rather be lying down. But you know what? She doesn't let that fool her. She doesn't let that take away from her sexuality, from her desire, from like feeling good about herself. And so she makes a point to tell herself positive affirmations about her body. And she'd even said something like, you know, these legs, not everybody has them. Not everybody can run. Not everybody can walk like I can walk. Not everybody can move like I can move. And so she spends time grateful for her legs. Or she'd even said, listen, maybe, you know, you only love your hands and your feet. That's it. Okay, then take the best care of your hands and your feet that you can. Get pedicures, get manicures, do whatever you can do to take care of those things. And I almost said take care of those phalanges. Do you know what that is? Your fingers. So weird. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, so take care of your phalanges and your feet. But do what you can to like emphasize those things that you feel good about, and then recognize them. Put them in your morning affirmation or wherever you want throughout your day to say good things about your body. So often we think these things have to come easy. Like, oh, Liz is just confident. She's just got it like that. And we just think it's natural for Liz. And if you're not hearing the behind the scenes, then you don't realize, oh, it's not natural for her at all. She does work. She works on loving her body. And I'm going to let my Kono bear out of the room so we can focus on this interview or this conversation. So yeah, she does work. She's not just confident on accident. A lot of times it does require these practices or behind the scenes things, telling ourselves good things, positive things, being our own cheerleader. So what can you say to yourself today? What positive affirmations can you say about your body? It's not crazy to sit here and think of these things or to like say these nice things to yourself. It's crazier to let yourself go on and feel crappy and just let that happen and not do anything to combat it. Because who wants that? Who wants to feel crappy about their body? And it's easy. We all fall in the trap, and there's no way to 100% eliminate it, but there is a way to combat it. I don't know about you, but I'm in. Sign me up for the personal cheerleading, because that is the only thing that I've found that has helped. Okay, so what part of your body do you love? I don't care how small that body part, I don't care if it's like your pinky or your pinky toe, right? That's okay. Love that pinky toe. Embrace it. There's got to be one thing about your body that's your favorite part of your body. Emphasize it. So think about that a minute. How can you start saying affirmations to yourself about your body or to that part that you love, and remind yourself like, oh yeah, I look good. My hair looks good today. My pedicure looks great today, right? Remind yourself of the things you love or the things that do look good. And then don't be afraid to emphasize it. Okay, I see how this is going. My dog is right back in here. Sorry. Apparently he wants to be involved in this podcast today. All right. Third reason why Liz Dube is so badass. She's a mirror. She's a mirror. Why do I say that Liz is a mirror? Because she reflects back to her clients what she sees and helps them find the good in themselves and see the truth about their situation. Like she even said, okay, sometimes people don't realize that like Hollywood is different. Hollywood isn't all real. We have these ideas of what sexy is based on porn, based on Hollywood, and what is put out to us. But that's not real. That's not sexy. That's not the real world. And so people feel the shame, guilt, but she will reflect back to them the truth. And that can help them heal from their journey. But my favorite part, not only is she a mirror that will reflect back to them, but she is a mirror for herself. She will reflect back to herself what she wants to see. She's not taking like these negative thoughts or these negative little micro pieces, microbits that come into her head. She's not taking these negative things and like saying, oh, that's who I am. She's not identifying herself as that, right? She's taking the part she wants to see and she's reframing it like we talked about earlier. So when these bad things come in, she's like, okay, that's not what I want to see. That's not what I want to believe. That's not an affirmation or a belief that I want to have. So she switches to the affirmations and she reflects that back to herself. So then she could start feeling better about herself. And I love this. When she cannot reflect it back to herself, then she is finding somebody who can. So are you reflecting back to yourself the stuff that you want to see? Are you reflecting back to yourself confidence or like sexiness? If that's what you want more desire, more sexiness, to feel a little bit lighter. If you're not reflecting back to yourself, maybe you find somebody who can help you do that. So like if you want to feel more sexy, maybe you find a sex therapist or maybe you go to a pole dancing class, right? And so Liz Dube is not afraid to do that. She is a divorced marriage therapist. Yeah. That could be hard. Divorced marriage therapist. It's like, oh man, how am I going to get people to buy off on this? What people buy off on is reality, is real life. And she was able to push through that and still stay a marriage therapist even when she was divorced. The truth is, many of us prefer the truth, the vulnerableness, the humanness of it. Like, okay, wow, she went through a divorce and she's a marriage therapist. If she did it, then I can do it. Then I can push past that imposter syndrome. But sometimes it's just about seeing somebody else before us go through the same thing. And here's another thing. She is a survivor of sexual trauma. And so now she's a sex therapist. She had sexual trauma in her own life. She could have let that defeat her. She could have let that bring her down. But she didn't. She used it to like, oh, now I'm going to use that to help myself, like help other people, I mean. So she used her trauma to propel her forward to now help other people through their sexual traumas, to help them get over it. She wasn't buried by it. And here's the thing. We kind of talked about this earlier when I was talking about being a badass, right? It doesn't matter the amount of time. Maybe some people have sexual trauma and they're able to get over it in a year. Maybe some have it and they're able to get over it in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, whatever. Some people are never able to get over it. But it's never too late to make that a part of your story, to make that as something like you are a survivor. You got through that. You are a total freaking badass. And nobody can take that from you, that you survived that. And so use it to encourage you. And if you can't, which 100% understandable, right? If you're going through some trauma, it's understandable if you can't see the other side or you can't get through it. But then seek help. Get yourself a therapist. Get somebody who can help, maybe somebody like Liz, right? Who has been where you are and then can see the other side and can show you proof like, oh, wow, she she survived sexual trauma too. And now she's a sex therapist. Cool. And of course, you can use that for anything. Maybe you're going for like alcohol recovery, right? And you find somebody who has been clean for how many years. And so, okay, they survived that. That's cool. And see yourself in their story, or like, if they can do it, then you can do it. And instead of looking down on ourselves for these things that happen to us, these bad situations or bad circumstances, whether it was something you did to yourself or it was something that somebody else did to you, you're a survivor. That is part of your story. And you know what? With all these scars, right? You're still a badass. You're more bad. It doesn't matter. Those don't make you any less badass, or the amount of time it takes to recover, to heal, to get over it. That doesn't matter. The fact is, you get over it, or you do what you got to do to get your help, or find a mirror. Find somebody who's going to be a mirror for you, who, if you can't see for yourself in your own mirror who you are and what is possible for you, then find somebody who can. Seek out a therapist who can reflect back to you what they are seeing or what the truth is, right? Because sometimes we can't see the truth for us. If it's so close to us, it's our own story and it's so close, it's so hard to see the truth of it. So then you find a therapist or somebody who can help you see the truth. All right. So, you ready to own your badassery yet? Be a mirror. Most importantly, be a mirror for yourself. Reflect back to yourself all of the amazing things that you're doing. And if you can't, find somebody who can help you. Okay, 3 reasons why Liz Dube is so badass. Quick recap. 1, for her writing practice. 2, for her body work. And 3, because she's a mirror. Woo, sorry about that. She's a mirror. And yeah, I loved all the things about Liz's episode. We didn't even really address a ton of the sexual part of it, or the stuff maybe people would traditionally think was a badass, right? But she had such great perspectives. So go back, listen to that episode if you haven't already. And of course, if you loved this episode or Liz's episode, I would be grateful if you went to iTunes and left a 5-star rating and review. Listen, this podcast is going places and it needs your help, because every single time you leave a review, it helps other people just like you, other badasses like you, to find the show. And if you're feeling super generous, screenshot it, tag me on Instagram at Ordinary to Badass. That way I can say thank you, because I know you're busy, you got a lot going on, and I definitely want to thank you for taking the time to leave a rating and review. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.